Okay. What is SIPC? This protects against the loss of cash and securities, such as stocks and bonds, held by a customer at a financially troubled SIPC member brokerage firm. So if you put your money in a brokerage firm that is not an SIPC member in a stock account, okay, and it doesn't have this, if that shady motherfucking company goes belly up, you will lose all of your money. Do you understand that? Okay? There are no guarantees for you. You are quintessentially fucked. All right? The limit of SIPC protection is $500,000, which includes a $250,000 limit for cash. Most customers of failed brokerage firms, when assets are missing from customers' accounts, are reported. There is no requirement that a customer reside in or be a citizen of the United States. A non-U.S. citizen with an account at a brokerage firm that is a member of SIPC is treated the same as a resident or citizen of the United States with an account at a brokerage firm that is a member of SIPC. SIPC protection is limited. SIPC only protects the custody function of broker-dealers, which means that SIPC works to restore to customers their securities and cash that are in their accounts when the brokerage firm liquidation begins. SIPC does not protect against the decline in value of your securities. SIPC does not protect individuals who are sold worthless stocks and other securities. SIPC does not protect claims against a broker for bad investment advice or for recommending inappropriate investments. Okay? So that means, like, if you get Madoffed, they ain't gonna do shit for you. This is only in the event that wherever your money is, you are protected in case that place goes down and you had money with them. Okay? The other thing I want to mention, though, is that if you trade futures, you are not entitled to this. Okay? Understand that. All right? So you have to make sure that whoever you choose to be your broker keeps also a cash balance above that and reports it to the CME, because they have to, reports a balance that they have stashed away to compensate for their futures accounts. Okay? Which TradeStation does. They report it every single day. And because they do that and it's recorded, what that is, it's not implied that if TradeStation went belly up, like, you would get your money back. But it is implied that they are secure enough to handle any kind of crazy thing that can happen in the futures market, as well as they are also an SIPC member. Okay, and they're a member of CME Group. Okay, so they work intimately with these people. So what that means as a futures trader is you are stuck in a crossroads. You should, with, like I do, with TradeStation, have a stock account. And all of the money that you make or lose or whatever that you don't necessarily need to trade, okay, should be on a linked account in a stock account. Doesn't mean you trade stocks. But the reason I do that is because just in case TradeStation ever went belly up, at least, 50 to 75% of my money is safe. Okay? In case TradeStation ever had like a dramatic blowout. Does that make sense to everyone? This is the scary truth and the reality of trading and trusting like a broker or someone with your money. You have been warned. All right? And you should honestly thank me for that, because nobody talks about that shit ever, especially futures traders. Because it's like, how do you sell someone a business when you're like, oh, I trade futures, and you're like, oh, by the way, nothing is insured. All right. So, let's see. Yeah. So we're just gonna go over like data sources real quick. So stuff that I've used in the past or currently use. Okay. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to give you here is like free websites that you can check out and you can log away as like news. So we got stockcharts.com. So you can screen, they have a bunch of scanners and stuff. So if you're not really used to like scanning with your platform, you can obviously use stockcharts.com. Plus they have a lot of other helpful stuff. They also have a paid version, but a lot of stuff you could do with the free version. Finviz.com also has like good screening tools for people that trade stocks. The Fly on the Wall is free news. Briefing.com is free news. Yahoo Finance is free news, ticker data. Google.com/finance is free news and ticker data. And one thing that's actually not used by a lot of people is Google Alerts. You can actually, so let's say you are, your thrust is like you're a value investor, okay? You can actually, so whatever you're interested in that has to pertain to that specific technology, you can set up alerts that will give you alerts of like news that comes out about that particular thing, and they'll email it to you. It's pretty cool. Some things that you should know, mainly pertaining to stocks, okay, is lowfloat.com. Heavily shorted stocks, highshortinterest.com, upcoming bio events if you're into bio stocks, fda-tracker.com/fda-calendar, SEC filings, sec.gov, stock splits, nasdaq.com, okay, 3x ETFs, all right. If you're into ETFs like SPY, this is a place you should go so you know all the symbols of different kinds of ETFs and what's offered. Short biased ETFs, meaning how to short something. And if you're interested in like technical patterns that we go over later down the road and you want a refresher course, you can always go to stockcharts.com/school. You can type in almost any pattern and it will show you like tons of examples and explain it to you. Fundamental news sites I've used in the past that are free: Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Magic Formula Investing. You can just type that into Google. All right, paid things: Wall Street Transcript, Dick Davis Investment Digest, Grant's Interest Rate Observer, Value Investor Insight. I can't even say that correctly. I'm just going to call it St. Angel's Review. Form 40 article. This provides data on insider sales and purchases. And then I would actually, for the free thing, one thing I forgot to add was gurufocus.com. That's another one. That's a great site, which we'll use later down the road. And then there's like special clubs for fundamental analysts. Value Investor Club, where you have to actually, in order to get into these clubs to receive other people's like research and stuff, you have to be a contributor, and you have to write a thesis and they have to accept you. Okay. And then SumZero. Another great useful website for like tracking stuff and like getting even data is Twitter. Okay. Now a lot of people, Facebook is a huge thing for Joe Schmo, but Twitter for financial news is unstoppable. So unstoppable that some people have actually like tried to make other things specifically for just like that's like Twitter, but is just specifically for that. And I can't remember the name of it. It's escaping me right now. If you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like a Twitter for basically just finance news. But anyways, it's not that successful. Some people try to adapt to it it ended up being, I think personally, a crapshoot, because it's like, why wouldn't you just do everything on Twitter? Because you can make your own groups on Twitter, and on top of that, you can just follow people that are interested in finance. So there's no reason to reinvent the wheel and have another social media platform that's just for finance. Um, so if you want to search for a symbol, like if you were interested in all things like Apple, you can literally type in the hashtag into like search on Twitter, and you can pull up everything that everyone's talked about Twitter or about Apple. If you're looking for certain future symbols, a lot of people don't know this. It will become a reality. Stock twits, thank you, Orlando. Stock twits try to do that. I don't think it was that successful personally, but Stock Twitch was trying to do what Twitter was doing, and it's just like, why don't you just follow people that just do that on Twitter? Why is there another thing? So, because they thought people, I guess, would pay money for it. But anyways, so for future symbols, it's always the hashtag, then the root, okay, and then an underscore, and then F. The F stands for futures. Okay, so if I'm talking about the E-mini S&P 500, it's hashtag ES underscore F. Okay, so don't type in at ES, because that's actually, I found out, linked to someone. Like an actual person's Twitter name is at ES. So don't do that. Another thing is on social media, take everything with a grain of salt. All right. For those of you who are in different countries, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but it's just because the English language is so full of what's known as idioms. A lot of people who speak English don't understand that. Like, what English is really hard for people of other countries to learn, because English does not make sense. Okay. A lot of times. So because we use a lot of idioms, and an idiom, which just means to view something with, or I'm sorry, an idiom is just like a turn of phrase, so to speak. Okay. So, I don't know. We say a lot of weird things, and also a lot of words have the same meaning, which is also confusing. So a grain of salt, take something with a grain of salt. We're not talking about putting salt in a drink here. It means just be skeptical, and don't take anything that anyone says literally. Okay. Just evaluate it for yourself. Use your brain, the thing between your ears. All right. So the pros of social media is you can get a feel or a buzz in the marketplace for a stock or a commodity. And sometimes, although rare, you may find someone that actually gives like useful fucking information that you can read. Okay? And here's the deal, guys. Use social media not only for yourself, but when you're trading, use it productively. Make sure that on any platform you are following people who are, at least have a track record, or at least offer you useful information. Don't follow fucking every single trader ever. Okay? Use your ability to select who you follow to streamline your information. And I only follow like 39 different people. Okay, I follow a handful of penny stock traders. Okay, what are they talking about? I follow a handful of different people who trade different commodities, who happen to be like either old school or, maybe there's some quant traders. I happen to follow a couple hedge fund managers. Okay, I keep my stream very streamlined, so any information I'm getting or taking in, it's all pertaining to stuff that I enjoy to read about, and also by people who actually, I think, are competent enough to understand what they're talking about. Okay? I don't follow fucking 1,000, 100,000 different people. All right? So make sure you do that. The downside is generally, a lot of, if you follow too many people or you get caught up in social media with what people say, you generally have pumpers and bashers, often misleading or erroneous information, and oftentimes you can get trolled. Okay, so getting trolled on Twitter, just block those people. Don't even respond, because if you do that, it makes them so much more angrier, and you should just eat up that satisfaction. Okay, don't respond, don't point it out, don't give them credence, don't retweet something. Don't get into a spat with them. Don't let your pride get in the way of that. Okay? All right? Just an FYI. All right? And also, say some shit on social media that people don't like, because trust me, people try to silence me on social media all the time. Okay? Just because it's too much truth. Okay? So, be productive and don't accept the status quo, and understand the difference between like criticism and bullshit. Okay? When you criticize someone, their initial reaction is always going to be defensive. All right? But the truth is like, truth is ketchup. All right? So just be real about it. Okay? But don't like bash someone just to bash them. Just be like, this is bullshit because. Okay? Norman asks, since you are using both TradeNav and TradeStation, do you just place buy and sell orders on one and use the other for charting? No. I'm a connoisseur of technology. Okay? So I have both because I want to see the similarities and differences, but everything I do is 100% nowadays through TradeStation. Okay? I just recently got TradeNav because I just wanted to see what it was like. All right. So it's a platform I've always known about. I'm just like, well, what is like the pros and cons of this, and how is it useful to my students or not? Because not everyone can have access to TradeStation, right? So I can't just think about what's best for Matt. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be like what's also useful, maybe hopeful to you all as well. All right. And then if you want to do some paper trading, okay, NinjaTrader offers paper trading, TradeStation offers paper trading, Thinkorswim offers paper trading, howthemarketworks.com paper trading, trademonster.com, Trade Navigator paper trading. Like every main platform has paper trading. The advantages of paper trading, guys and gals, is that once you know your edge and you have a system, you want to see how it does in real time without using real money, right? So build some confidence behind that. All right. You're not going to get the emotional side, which is what we'll deal with later. But the thing is like, after you're done with me, you really shouldn't even give a shit about emotions. Okay? But it's always good to get your feet wet. And also, I think paper trading helps people learn a platform. I mean, Tim Sykes used to like bash people for paper trading. And now all of a sudden, because he owns a platform, he's changed his tune a little bit, because I think he understands now like what we've all been saying, which is like, dude, chillax, relax, bro, just chill, and understand like paper trading can have some useful advantages to the end user, and also helps people get familiar with the platform. So, that's really the purpose, I think, of paper trading. And every platform that I use has always had some kind of like real-time paper trading. If you use Thinkorswim though, you have to call and specifically tell them, hey, I want to have real-time quotes. Okay. All right, and then book resources, which is like a question I, for whatever fuck reason, get asked all the time. Okay, so this is just like a handful of books that I've read cover to cover. All right, or listen to, if I can. So you need to understand one thing about books. Like, books will kill your creativity if you let them. All right, so always learn. Keep an open mind and learn what someone is saying, but don't accept it at face value. Okay? Because at the end of the day, You have to be the one that's pulling the trigger. You have to be the one that's coming up with the ideas. And these can all offer ideas, but don't let them stifle your creativity, because a lot of these books will always say you can't, you won't, you don't do this, don't do that, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, The Little Book That Beats the Market by Joel Greenblatt. Joel Greenblatt was very successful, or is a very successful hedge fund manager. Okay? He's a very much a value investor. He made magicformula.com. Okay? You can get his audiobook and listen to it. It's a very good book to just getting used to the understanding, like the fundamentals of stocks, and it's a pretty simple read. The Market Wizard series by Jack Schwager is excellent because Jack has a really good affinity to asking really great questions. Okay? Now, Jack is not a trader. All right? He's never claimed to be, but because he's in trading, people just assume that his word is God. It's not. The best book is, in my opinion, Hedge Fund Market Wizards. You're not going to understand everything in this book, but at first, but it's really long. I would suggest getting the audiobook for it and just listen to how these top traders who are in both discretionary and mechanical, meaning systematic, how they see the market. And you can learn a lot from that. All right. Pitbull is an old book by Martin Schwartz. Okay. A great book, a timeless book, but he's somewhat mechanical in his approach, but he's also very much discretionary. Okay. A lot of people don't know who he is, especially in this day and age, but he was named the Pitbull for a very certain reason. But he has some useful stuff that to this day still works, and in the back of his book, and you can see how he plans like every single day. And he's just a legend, okay? Like he really is, and not a lot of people know about him, and because he doesn't give a shit what people think, okay? Extremely wealthy man, and if you want to take a step back in time, also this is a good book. Another book is by Kevin Davey, Building Winning Algorithmic Trading Systems. Very good. I disagree personally with a lot of the stuff that he says. Okay. But it's good. It's good, I would say, basics, like introduction. All right. A fantastic book is Long-Term Secrets to Short-Term Trading by Larry Williams, second edition, which has been updated. Larry is a legend, okay, who nobody in this day and age seems to even remember anymore, okay? That book honestly has so many good things in it for systematic traders, okay? Trading with the Ichimoku Cloud. The Essential Guide to Ichimoku Kinko Hayo Technical Analysis by Manesh Patel, who was a CTA. If there was a man in the world that only loved one thing as much as Manesh does, I think the world would be a better place. I mean, the guy has literally written so many books about the cloud, and the way he uses it, way different than how I use it. Great book if you're ever interested in the cloud. All right. I would say he's a true master of the cloud. All right. And some very interesting ideas. If you are more of a value investor kind of person, and that's just how you believe the world works, How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill, great book. Strategy probably doesn't work that well anymore, but good base, like very in depth. Okay. It is dross. Very, very dross. Jake Bernstein, The Complete Day Trader, Trading System Strategy, Timing Indicators, and Analytical Methods. Now, Jake has 44 books. Okay. He's a psychologist just like me. And him and Larry go way back. And they honestly, growing up, like, I'm still growing up, I would say, but like they inspired me a lot and had a very huge influence on how I think about markets. Okay? I've met Larry. I had him sign a book and I talk to him every now and again. And then I have not met Jake, but I've I don't know, I've talked to his team before. So, and then if you're into some psychology, the only psychology book I will ever recommend to anyone, just because I think it covers everything in terms of trading, if you're into that, is Trading in the Zone. Okay? So, there's some books. These aren't all the books. Okay? I've literally read hundreds of books, even though I really hate reading. But when it comes to the market, I don't mind, right? If you do something you really love and you're passionate about, like, you will just tear through information like nobody business. Okay? So that should get some of you started. For those of you who are like, what's some good books to read? There you go. Here you go. Here's like, what is this? 4, 6, 8, 10 books. I didn't even do that on purpose. But there you go. All right, so that's probably going to wrap it up for today. Next week, we're going to get into the psychology of trading. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? I know today was kind of like still very, very slow. Okay, but you guys have to understand, I'm trying to make sure everyone's on the same page. Okay? There are no stupid questions. If we get down the road and then you lack some of this understanding, you're only going to hurt yourself. Okay? Any questions on platforms? Any questions on level 2? Any questions on books? Any questions on anything? That's not important. That's honestly not important. Surya or is the S silent? Is it re or is it Suri? Eric asked, what do you set your tick increments to on your charts? Like I said, that's not important. The importance is that you understand the difference between time-based charts and and non-time based charts. The increments the more ticks you have, the larger the perspective. So if you use a 6,000 tick, you're going to see more like a more macro perspective in a short time frame. If you use a 2,500 tick, you're going to, do you understand? Like the more you set it to the kind of like a daily chart, the wider the perspective. There's no real sweet spot, if that's what you're asking. It's just something you have to play with. So Sari asked, how important is it to learn candlestick patterns? I think it's important because you can actually like test candlestick patterns, right? So like, how do you form like a morning star, a doji, all of these things? Like, how are those patterns formed, and can you code that up, and does it have any kind of like structure? And you can test that kind of stuff. Candlesticks are very specific in terms of like they tell you this is how this is formed, right? So you have like a dark cloud cover, and that's like a very specific like 2-bar types. And then you have like a doji, like, well, how's a doji formed? And well, what if the candle is green and then we go into a doji and I buy the next bar open, right? Like you can totally code all of that. So if you're going to learn candlestick patterns, I think the focus should be like, I want to test those candlestick patterns. Eric says, would you say the summit Tim is putting on is worthwhile to attend? I don't Like, I think it's good for people. I mean, I'll be there if, like, Tim, like, I haven't gotten anything from Tim about the summit. So, like, where I'm speaking, I may not even speak. So I may not even be going there. Still, like, I don't know. Like, there's been no details. But I think if I go, like, you'll meet other people that are part of, like, my training at least. So I think if you want to talk to other people and talk to me, like, that would be ideal, I guess. Understand I get paid no dollar monies for that. So that kind of sucks. But um I don't know, for you just have to make the determination, like, understand, like, it's going to be focused on, like, mostly mainly like Tim and his stuff. So